The Gaslight Anthem are an American punk rock band from New Brunswick, New Jersey, formed in 2006. The band consists of Brian Fallon, Alex Rosamilia, Alex Levine, and Benny Horowitz. The Gaslight Anthem released their debut album, Single Swim, on XOXO Records in May 2007, and their second album, The 59 Sound, on SideOneDummy Records in August 2008. The band's third album, American Slang, was released in June 2010, and their fourth, Handwritten, was released in July 2012 through Mercury Records. The band's fifth full-length studio album, Get Hurt, was released on August 12, 2014, through Island Records. History: before the Gaslight Anthem, Brian Fallon was in a number of bands prior to the Gaslight Anthem, most recently This Charming Man. The band went through a number of lineup changes, to the point where the band consisted of Fallon, Mike Volpe, Benny Horowitz, and Alex Levine. At this stage, the band renamed themselves to the Gaslight Anthem, due to a change in direction. After this, Volpe left and Alex Rosamilia joined, and the current lineup of the Gaslight Anthem was formed. Single Swim, the Gaslight Anthem's full-length debut, Single Swim, was well received by both independent music review sites such as punnews.org, absolutepunk.net, and more mainstream publications such as spin.com. A four-song EP titled C+± or on the Queen was released on February 5, 2008, through Sabot Productions. A double 7 vinyl version of the EP was also released on standard black vinyl, as well as limited edition pressings on clear vinyl, red vinyl, and white vinyl. The 59 Sound, the band's second full-length album, The 59 Sound, was released on August 19, 2008, through SideOneDummy Records. The record was produced by Ted Hutt and features Hot Water Music's Chris Willard and the Mighty Mighty Bosstones' Dickie Barrett as guests. The album was voted the No. A1 album of 2008 by eMusic, and received a high rating from Pitchfork Media. The title of the first song on the album, Great Expectations, makes reference to the character Estella in the Charles Dickens book of the same title. In 2008, the band covered God's Gonna Cut You Down for the Johnny Cash tribute album All Aboard, a tribute to Johnny Cash. In 2009, the band's song Ida Called You Woody, Joe was featured as part of the soundtrack of the video game Skate 2 and Skate It. The band sometimes covers Tom Petty's American Girl, and Refugee Live. On August 6, 2008, the band made British music history, becoming the first band to ever appear on the cover of Kerrang! Magazine without the magazine having previously written about them. Kerrang! Called them the best new band you'll hear in 2008. In addition, the band received airplay on BBC Radio 6 Music, and embarked on a UK and European tour in November. In August 2009, the Gaslight Anthem won the 2009 Kerrang! Award for Best International Newcomer. In 2009, the Gaslight Anthem supported Social Distortion on their European tour and was announced as a supporting act for Bruce Springsteen at Hyde Park Calling. The band performed at Pink Pop on June 1, 2009. At the Glastonbury Festival on June 27, 2009, Bruce Springsteen joined the band on stage during their performance of the 59 Sound. Brian Fallon later contributed to Springsteen's headlining set, performing the song No Surrender. At London's Hard Rock Calling Festival on June 28, Springsteen again joined the band to perform the 59 Sound, and Fallon again joined Springsteen in singing No Surrender. The Gaslight Anthem subsequently performed at Lollapalooza in Chicago on August 7, 2009. American Slang, the band's third album, titled American Slang, was released on June 14, 2010, in the UK and June 15, 2010, in the USA. 1. According to frontman Brian Fallon, the songwriting on the new album was different than on the band's previous efforts. He named the Rolling Stones, Blues Breakers with Eric Clapton, and Derek and the Dominos as influences. In addition to 5 UK dates, the band played at festivals including Bonnaroo Festival, the Austin City Limits Music Festival, Southside Festival, Hurricane Festival, Hard Rock Calling, Rock Werchter, the Guernsey Festival of Performing Arts, A Camping Flight to Lowlands Paradise, Reading and Leeds Festivals and A Yachts to Vale. The Gaslight Anthem toured the UK and Europe at the end of 2010 with support from Chuck Ragan and Sharks. They performed 2 songs from American Slang on Episode 6, Series 37 of Later. With Jools Holland, originally broadcast in the UK on October 22, 2010. Handwritten, as of July 2010, Fallon said he was already working on new material for a 4th album. Subsequently, Fallon stated on his blog that the band would start writing their record in January 2011. However, prior to playing on Pink Pop in June 2011, Fallon stated that they had just started working on the new album and that it would not be released for at least a few months. In the same interview, Fallon said only 1 song was finished so far, referring to By Loxie Parish, which they performed on stage at Pink Pop 2011 as well as Rock 'Em Ring. Fallon stated that the band's next record will sound closer to their breakthrough record, the 59 sound, rather than American Slang. During this time, Fallon was also working with good friend Ian Perkins, putting the finishing touches on their side project, The Horrible Crows. On October 6, 2011, the Gaslight Anthem announced via Facebook that they had signed with Mercury Records. They stated that they were sorry to leave their friends at SideOneDummy, but felt that the change was necessary for their musical career. On October 14, 2011, the Gaslight Anthem announced that their last show before going into the studio to record their new album would be on December 9 at the Asbury Park Convention Hall. On February 22, 2012, the band's Twitter feed announced the forthcoming album would be titled Handwritten. The album was released on July 20, 2012, in Germany, July 23 in the UK, and July 24 in the US. On September 21, 2012, in Pensacola, Florida, the Gaslight Anthem performed Pearl Jam's State of Love and Trust Live at DeLuna Fest with Eddie Vedder on vocals. On November 30, 2012, the last of 3 nights in a row at New York City's Terminal 5 venue, Fallon announced that they would be releasing a live DVD of the previous night's show. Get Hurt, the band announced on July 4, 2013, via their TUMBLR site, that they were working on new songs for a new Gaslight Anthem album in 2014. Fallon cites Pearl Jam's No Code album as an influence and inspiration for the upcoming album. The band released a limited edition box set titled Singles Collection, 2008 to Euro 2011 in June 2013. The set compiled 9 of the band's 7-inch singles in a wooden box. In December 2013 the band released their first DVD, titled Live in London, and 1 month later in January 2014 they released the B-Sides, a collection of acoustic songs, live songs, and outtakes from their various singles. On March 10, 2014, the band entered Blackbird Studios in Nashville to record their 5th album. The band stated on April 14 that they had arrived at the last week in the studio of recording the album. In an interview with Rolling Stone published May 23, 2014, Fallon described the new record as completely different than anything we had ever done before. Instead of going that extra step of just adding some organ or some background vocals, this time we actually really changed up a lot of the sounds. On June 16, 2014, the title of the album was announced as Get Hurt. It is scheduled for release on August 12, 2014. On July 24, 2014, the music video for the title track debuted. The Gaslight Anthem released Stay Vicious, their new single, to iTunes on July 28, 2014. Description and influences: the Gaslight Anthem is part of a rich tradition of New Jersey punk, spanning the Misfits to the Bouncing Souls. The Gaslight Anthem's music also embraces many elements of the Jersey Shore sound. Brian Fallon's fondness for Springsteen, a significant influence on their music, is a fact celebrated by fans and critics alike. However, the band claims they never set out to sound like the New Jersey icon. Representative of such views, one critic wrote, "The Gaslight Anthem are like something out of speculative fiction. This is what pop music would be if Springsteen hadn't listened to his producer, let the Ramones records Hungry Heart, and launched the CBGBers into megastardom." Drummer Benny Horowitz and guitarist Alex Rosamilia stated that we're more Bruce Springsteen appreciators. We didn't start listening to him until we joined the band. I always liked his songs when I heard them, but I wasn't a big fan until I met Brian Fallon. Following the release of their third full-length album, American Slang, Fallon himself said, "There's so much else that we look at for our sound and influences that you don't want to be notched in with one guy," Fallon explains. "There's a lot of things Springsteen does that I admire. We come from a lot of the same places but a lot of different places too. But at the same time, that's a good thing to be compared to. I think it's one of those things we're gonna have to wear until it wears out." Of the Springsteen comparisons, Rosamilia also added, "I think there's enough out there on the internet about that already." Joe Strummer has often been spoken about and referenced by lead singer Brian Fallon, and the song "I'd Called You Woody, Joe" is a tribute to the legendary Clash frontman. Similarly, Tom Petty is referenced in several songs either by name or through references to particular songs of his. As a bonus track for the deluxe version of Handwritten, the Gaslight Anthem covered the Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers song "You Got Lucky." Brian Fallon has stated several times that without the replacements there would be no Gaslight Anthem, as they are heavily influenced by them, especially their song "Left of the Dial." Band members: Brian Fallon Euro lead vocals, rhythm guitar, Alex Rosamilia Euro lead guitar, backing vocals, Alex Levine Euro bass, backing vocals, Benny Horowitz Euro drums, percussion, tambourine, touring member, Ian Perkins Euro guitar, backing vocals. Discography: Sink or Swim, The 59 Sound, American Slang, Handwritten, Get Hurt. See also, Music of New Jersey, Jersey Shore Sound. References. External links: Official website, Official Facebook, Official MySpace, SideOneDummy, Fan Forum, Dimestor Saints, Fan Site, The Gaslight Anthem Record, Gaslight Anthem at www.pungnews.org, Recent Review, Gaslight Anthem Fan Forum, July 2010 Cover Story, Review of American Slang Euro the Single, The Official Gaslight Anthem Street Team, Gaslight Anthem Interview on thewaster.com.